She makes like video content of old games, like
I'm sorry,
Juggernaut.
baby.
Alright, if you're gonna have these conversations, can you please let me know?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're being insanely loud.
I am. I'm sorry. I was too loud, guys.
I gotta feel in trouble.
I'm sorry. My wife wants to go to sleep. I'm sorry, guys.
Now we have to do another bad story because that's the news today. Are you ready for this one? Because I don't think you're going to like this one. Ready? Epic Games has laid off over 1,000 employees overnight and has announced that 3 Fortnite modes are going to shut down permanently, including Rocket Racing, which literally is a ripoff of Rocket League, Ballistic, and the Festival Battle Stage. Okay? So here's the actual notice. Today we're laying off over 1,000 employees. I'm sorry we're here again. The downturn in Fortnite engagement that started in 2025 means we're spending significantly more than we're making, and we have to make major cuts to keep the company funded. This layoff, together with over $500 million of identified cost savings in contracting, marketing, and closing some open roles, puts us in a more stable space. So now I want you to think about this. Okay? Epic Games comes out with the most lucky venture ever in the history of gaming. They took a game that was supposed to be a tower defense game against zombies, and instead of releasing it, last minute, they make a course correction, and they decide to copy an already existing successful genre and turn it into a battle royale game instead. They throw away the zombies, they throw away the tower defense, and instead they make a cartoony construction / battle royale game. It completely blows up culturally. It becomes a phenomenon across the planet. Most profitable game, humongous hit. It's all over the place, right? So what do? They take all this money they're making and they start their own video game delivery service with the Epic Games Store, right? They expand. They get all the IPs. Every single intellectual property is now in Fortnite. They create a million kinds of things in Fortnite. Fortnite, right? Fortnite becomes so big, you have an entire culture of online gamers who only talk about, stream, and play Fortnite. There's actual online courses teaching you how to become a full-time online Fortnite streamer as a career. I'm not joking. All of this happened. Okay? Now, maybe for those of us who were very young, they thought, wow, this is life now. This will be forever. We now have Fortnite as part of human existence, and it will always be culturally relevant. For the rest of us who've been around a little longer, we realize that these kind of trends happen all the time. That, yes, you'll get something that blows up and is culturally relevant for a while, but nothing lasts forever, right? Success is fleeting. And therefore, when you have success, you must be planning for the future and realize that the one thing that's good today will not be good in 5 years, 10 years. It will eventually die out, peter out, and you have to adjust for that. Okay? Epic Games didn't do that. Epic Games said Fortnite. They never thought to themselves, gee, maybe one day Fortnite won't be popular. And so what we should do is make more games, put our money into other ventures, do other things. They just said Fortnite. They overexpanded. They overspent. They kept making new modes, new events. And although Fortnite did overstay its welcome as culturally relevant, the writing was on the wall that eventually it would not be. Today is the day that Fortnite is not culturally relevant. It's only relevant amongst the group of people who blew up in that sphere. Most people today do not talk about Fortnite. There are a couple million that probably follow it, engage it, care about the events in it, the seasons, etc. But admittedly, even just with this news here, that crowd is dwindling. It's on a downward trend. People who used to stream Fortnite full-time don't even like Fortnite anymore and are saying, we don't know what to do with our time because we don't like the new seasons. They're uninspired. They're not interesting. Just like anything. How long do you think this game is going to stay relevant? It's not. There is no game upon itself that will stay relevant for over a decade. You know what I'm saying? Like, then it becomes a meme. So, Epic Games did absolutely nothing to become relevant outside of Fortnite. So here they are about 10 years later, because I think it's been 9 years the game's been out now, 9 or 10. We're about the decade point at this point. And basically now, they're not making money anymore. They keep spending more than they're making. So what do? Do they say, well, let's take a look. I think the problem here is that the management didn't see what was coming, the writing on the wall. Therefore, let's gut the management. Let's fire all the managers who didn't know what they were doing, all the people at the top who didn't plan for this. Let's keep the talented engineers, developers, and people under our wing because they're the ones who are going to make the future products that are going to make us money. And let's fire the upper echelon of management who made the wrong decisions, mismanaged the company, and put us in the situation we're in. That's what happened today, right? No. The management keep their jobs, and the management get rid of over 1,000 employees who work hard. Does that seem to make sense? Did those 1,000 employees do the wrong thing and deserve to lose their jobs? Or were the people in charge the ones who did the wrong things and deserve to lose their jobs? Isn't it ass backward how all this works? So here we go. Some of the challenges we're facing are industry-wide challenges. Slower growth, weaker spending, and tougher cost economics. Current consoles selling less than last generations, and games competing for time against other increasingly engaging forms of entertainment. Wrong. Wrong. That entire paragraph is wrong. Okay? Here's the challenge you're facing. Complete lack of innovation, complete lack of foresight, and complete lack of intelligence. That's what you're lacking. These are not your challenges here. Your challenge is that you're a moron. Person who's writing this, I believe it's Tim Sweeney or whoever it is, you're a moron. You did not account for the fact that Fortnite would not be forever popular, and now you're failing. It has nothing to do with anything you just mentioned. Because guess what? Games are still selling. Games are still booming. Certain games are doing well. Just not you, because you're dumb. Some of our challenges are unique to Epic. Despite Fortnite remaining one of the most successful games in the world, we've had challenges delivering consistent Fortnite magic with every new season. We're only in the early stages of returning to mobile and optimizing Fortnite for the world's billions of smartphones. And in being the industry's vanguard, we've taken a lot of bullets in a battle which is only in the early days of paying off for ourselves and all developers. He is so ignorant, he actually thinks he's the first person or first company to experience something that went like culturally popular and then faded away after time. He actually believes that. He thinks no one's covered this ground before. There's never been a fad, ever in history of humans. There's never been a fad. Since it's a thing now, I should note the layoffs aren't related to AI. To the extent it improves productivity, we want to have as many awesome developers developing great content as much as we can. What we now need to do is build awesome Fortnite experiences with fresh seasonal content, gameplay, story, and live events. Stop. Wrong. Full stop. Wrong. You don't need to do any of that. You need to stop and understand that Fortnite is now in its swan song and is going to step off into the sunset. And within the next 5 years, Fortnite will die. Fortnite was lucky to have the level of success it ever had. It was the exception to the rule. It was a lucky shot in the dark for your company. You should be grateful you had the level of success you had. It's time to wake up, okay? The bubble has burst. The days of milk and honey are over. You now need to actually do something smart, intelligent, and have talent doing it. And maybe that's the problem, is that Fortnite never was that. Fortnite literally was, let's copy what everyone else did and just tape it together. Let's take the crafting mechanics of a game like Minecraft. Let's take the battle royale of a game like DayZ, and let's put it with cartoony things that look like Overwatch, and let's tape them all together and produce it as like it's an original product when all you did was you stole other people's ideas, you taped it together, and you got lucky. And now, what we need to do is focus on Fortnite. You're a fucking idiot. You've actually proven right now with that one statement, you don't deserve to run Epic Games. You're an idiot. You already had your success with Fortnite. The question is, what is next? Not what was the past and what will continue. What is next for your company? Because if you keep focusing on the thing that was lucky, you will not exist. You will go out of business. You will go from one of the biggest gaming companies in history because of a viral hit to nothing. A footnote on a fucking textbook page in the history of video games because you're so dumb, you're squandering your chance to do something relevant again. Good Lord. How dumb can you be? Is every person in charge of a game company this stupid? It seems like it. Every time you read the statement from Yves Guillemot or Phil Spencer or now this guy, I believe this is Tim Sweeney, it's the dumbest stuff you've ever read in your life. Now listen to this. This isn't our first time being here. Epic survived upheavals in 1990s with the move from 2D to 3D with Unreal 1. In the 2000s, building console games with Gears of War. And in 2012, moving to online gaming with Paragon and Fortnite. So why don't you understand that you need to move on? You literally just mentioned 3 situations where there was a fad, there was a change, and you changed and moved on and succeeded. So then why in the paragraph before did you say the future is still Fortnite? You even have the history literally in the next paragraph explaining why it's time to move on, and you're too ignorant to see what you wrote. You're that dumb. Living in this insulated cloud, right? Why? Because he's at the top of the company. He's not the line level developer. He's not down in the trenches. He lives in this fucking ivory tower. He's rich as shit. And he doesn't understand the industry. Market conditions today are the most extreme we've seen. Wrong. The market conditions today are not the most extreme that you've ever seen. That's a complete lie. That's what you say when you're failing. You make excuses. This is an excuse for your failure. Your failure is directly reliant on the fact that you made terrible decisions in the last 5 years, you put all your eggs in one basket, and you failed as a leader. Not because the market conditions are extreme. That's stupid. That's a dumb thing to say. At Epic, we pride ourselves in only hiring the industry's best. It's painful to see so many talented people go. Then don't let them go. Step down. Of course, he's saying these employees will get 6 months of severance pay, and they're going to get stock options accelerated. Yeah, it is Tim Sweeney. I was right. So here we go again. All right, seriously. Another situation where someone who everyone thought that Tim Sweeney was such a smart guy. Oh my God, he made the most virally popular Epic game ever. Wow, they print money. There's no way they could fail. They're failing. They're failing because they don't know what they're doing. They never did. Again, Fortnite was luck. Fortnite was literally, let's take a shot in the dark because we don't know what we're doing. And this game, this stupid Fortnite game that's a tower defense with zombies is not going to sell. We need to do something different. And they tried something different and it exploded and worked by copying other people's work, taping it together. They're a decade now they've been popular printing money. Now the money train is finally dried up. So what do? Screw the people who did all the hard work all along. Screw them, take their jobs away. Don't punish the people who made the bad decisions. Sounds like a plan. Okay. Someone threw the $1.50 says, do you think he should still be in charge? I mean, you already answered that. You already know the answer to the question. All right. Well, that's enough about that. Let's see what people have to say. Oh, let's see here. Alex from Phoenix says he likely surrounded himself with yes men who won't protest his actions. Could be. You really have to wonder, these companies that have high highs, how do they then tank so badly? Really? Like, how are you at the top of the world? And you have track records of success and you know what's going on and you still act so poorly. Like, I don't know. For me, listen, the only thing I can do is speak from my experience. All right. When I was on top of the world as a big gaming YouTuber, I had no idea what to do. Why? Because I was one of the first. I was one of an innovative group of people who was at the top of the gaming landscape with YouTube back in the day. All right. No one knew what to do. Some people went one way, some people went another way, some people acted one way, some people made this content, some people collabed, some people joined this company or whatever. There was no track record of anything. It was all first-time, groundbreaking shit, to be frank, okay? So I made tons of mistakes. I didn't know how to behave. I didn't have anyone to guide, no one to go off of. That'd be like today, someone who gets into gaming on YouTube, and they just make every mistake possible in a row, despite the fact that there's so many people who have come before them who you could follow their examples and learn from their mistakes, right? Literally, Tim Sweeney is sitting there in his statement saying, we have to make more Fortnite content. Oh, by the way, here's 3 examples where we moved on from previous things that we were doing because we overcame and adapted. But by the way, we're not going to do that. We're going to keep making more Fortnite content. I just don't understand these people. I guess I can't. Maybe because I live in a different world than them, right? I came from nothing, you know. I didn't come from having money. I didn't come from being popular or being in the industry or being an insider or, you know what I mean? Like, I just came from nowhere and all of a sudden I blew up on YouTube. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And yeah, I botched a lot of it along the way, but I just don't think this way that they do. That like, oh, my shit, you know, my shit doesn't stink. I didn't make any mistakes. Just lay off 1,000 people so we can stay profitable. Huh? No, the laying off of the 1,000 people is a direct evidence that you made mistakes. Because if you're successful, you would never have to lay off people like that. Like, ever. Not switching to a capture card sooner back then was your biggest blunder. You can't stay stuck in one place. Well, when you think about it, I started doing videos as a hobby in 2008, okay? I didn't actually monetize content or start doing it as a job until early 2011, okay? And then I went direct capture early 2013. So arguably, 2 years, I did it with a camera pointed at the TV. And because of that, I delayed my live streaming. and I delayed the better quality for sure. It's weird because back then everyone yelled at me saying you were a dinosaur. But now you look at it and it's like, well, it was only 2 years out of 18 years that I've made content. Like since 2013, I've done the more modern stuff, you know? But I agree. I was very stubborn back then, for sure. I was very pig-headed. I didn't want to listen, right? I didn't want to say, oh, I got to change with the times. I got to do things better. You know, you're right. I was very ignorant at that point. So maybe you can argue the 2 years of 2011 to 2013 when everyone was telling me to improve and I refused was my era when I was like these stubborn CEOs of gaming companies that had no fucking clue what they're doing. Maybe. Oh, that's exactly what happened. Layla the Witch says, do you think Fortnite got too cocky and now they're paying for it? Here's what they did. They got too complacent. They were at the top of the world. And rather than saying, okay, success is fleeting. We know we won't be here forever. What do we do to future-proof? What do we have cooking next down the pipeline that's not Fortnite? So when Fortnite finally does start to ride into the sunset, because it's going to get sunsetted eventually, it's not going to be popular forever, we have the next big thing. They literally didn't do that at all. They just said Fortnite, 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 Fortnite. And even now, we're laying off 1,000 employees. So what's best for our company? What's going to fix this? Fortnite, Fortnite, Fortnite. That's the dumbest thinking I've ever heard. And this guy's in charge of the company. Yikes. What's up, Filipino? How you doing, man? Complacency is the most common denominator with dying businesses. I will have to agree. If you become complacent and you become set in your ways and you refuse to innovate and you refuse to improve and you refuse to change and you refuse to do new things and to try new ventures and to venture out and do innovation and fun, if you don't take feedback, if you don't listen to feedback, if you don't listen to the customer base, you will fail. 10 times out of 10. I learned that the hard way over the years. Being stubborn and not listening and not taking in any constructive criticism and just being a jerk saying, my shit doesn't stink, I know better than you, it doesn't work. You have to listen. You have to try new things. Right now, I'm probably at the point in my career where I'm the most receptive to suggestion. You guys suggest games. You guys suggest different things to do. I always want to hear your feedback because that's just going to help me to improve, right? That's going to help us do fun stuff together and keep being relevant for an audience that then rewards me with the attendance, engagement, and support that keeps me successful. Relevancy breeds success. Fortnite is becoming completely irrelevant. No one cares that much about it anymore besides those who are so engrossed in that sphere, that bubble. Everyone else is like moving on to other things. How they don't see it, I don't get it because they're living in the bubble, I guess, right? Tim Sweeney lives in the bubble of Fortnite and doesn't understand. No one's really talking about Fortnite besides people who just play Fortnite all the time. They've all moved on to other stuff. Fortnite is, even the streamers don't like the game anymore, are saying we hate the new seasons, we hate all this. So the people who made you popular don't want to play your game anymore. You got an issue. Abdullah, thank you for 32 months as an Ultra member. He says Fortnite and LTG have something in common. Well, I don't know what you mean about that particularly, but I appreciate you supporting the channel for 32 months. Thank you for that. Sway Crab, how are you? Okay. All right, guys, I think we will end the morning.